And Brendan Fay, a deserving recipient of the Edie Windsor Quality Award.
Brendan asked his two filmmaker friends, Greta and Susan, to do him a favor. Come interview us to make a small film of the wedding as a gift to us. They did that, and on leaving our apartment, phoned Brendan to say they wanted to do a documentary about those two women, hence the film Edie and Thea, A Very Long Engagement. Brendan came to Toronto, actually preceded us one day to make sure everything was set up properly. He was to be the one of our two best men. After Thea died, I was hit with a humongous estate tax. I went looking for help, carrying my documentary film saying, I have a documented marriage, and was told it was the wrong time for the movement. I'll just add it as she actually called me to ask her to help, and I connected her with Lambda Legal, because Lambda Legal represented Robert and I, and Lambda Legal said, it's too soon. The composition's not right. So anyway, we all know the history. Brendan Fay, indignant and outraged for me, approached his friend Eddie DeMonis, who had a long history as a legal placement consultant. And I received a phone call from Eddie saying, Brendan gave me your telephone number, is that all right? I said, Brendan can do anything. Eddie said he wanted to phone some lawyers who might be interested in my case. And the next day, Robbie Kaplan of Paul Weiss and all walked into my apartment. And we very quickly decided to partner in the case, and you all know the rest. In summary, Brendan Fay instigated every step of my journey, all the way to the Supreme Court. Thank you, Brendan, from the bottom of my heart, for myself, for Thea, for the hundreds of thousands of people who are freed of DOMA. But that's only my story. Brendan's history right to this moment is of advocacy and action in his ongoing fight for equality and justice throughout the world, not to mention the films, the parade, Poland, and his representation of me in Ireland, Galway. Love, Edie.
Wow.
So, on behalf of the LOFT, I'd like to present the Edie Windsor and Thea Spire Equality Award to Brendan Fay. And Senator Cousins also has a proclamation in recognition of Brendan Fay. And I won't read all of it, because most of it I talked about, but I will read the last paragraph. That I, State Senator and Democratic Conference Leader, Andre Stewart Cousin, recognize the significant contributions and accomplishments of Brendan Fay, and join with the residents of the 35th District to proclaim this day, Saturday, November 15th, 2014, as Brendan Fay Day. Now, he's only got 2.5 more hours to enjoy it.
I want to get a piece of poetry right there that Jesus LeBron is going to. Here's the, Jesus, if you would bring that up for me. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is Jesus LeBron, everybody. Great actor. History says, don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme. That's from Seamus Heaney.
Wow.
Thank you, Michael, for those words. Thank you, Edie Windsor, Thank you, Thea. Thank you, all of you, each and every one of you, for this great honor. When I got a call from Rich and emails, and I heard Edie Windsor Thea Spire Award, you have no idea how deep and how meaningful this moment is for me. It is such a personal and meaningful award. It is such, I called Tom because we had made plans to go to Ireland, and I said, plans are going to change. Then when I heard who was giving this award, the LOFT Community Centre, it reminded me of back in Ireland in the mid-80s when I found the Hirschfield Community Centre in Dublin. It just made me realize how important spaces and places like the LOFT are in our lives. How they are life-saving spaces. Truly life-saving. How many, sometimes it can take a while for people to find their way to the door and through the door. But the hope and the hospitality that's inside not only can transform lives, save lives. That's why it is so deeply meaningful to be here, to receive this Edie Windsor and Thea Spire Award, but who it is from, the LOFT LGBT Community Centre of White Plains. Thank you for keeping the space of hope and hospitality present and alive and functioning and up and running with doors open for people who need it. People who are still trying to figure out how to find what they need to live full and meaningful lives from our LGBT community centres. Whether they are seniors who still wonder, does anybody care out there, who live lives in the closet, or perhaps have to return to the closet and are isolated, maybe lonely. Young teenager, maybe who's a son or daughter of immigrants for whom this is all new, and are trying to sort out where should they go. Young person, perhaps, who's living with the experience of being bullied and silently living with this experience inside and wondering where can they go for healing, for help, for hospitality. Perhaps maybe, doesn't matter, people in recovery, looking for a space to find people that they can be with, who like them are also lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, and who want to recover, who want to find real hope and healing and hospitality. See, by the way, let me just say, and I know, Jesus reminded me, Jesus, this isn't time for speeches, it's a brief thank you. But let me just say this. Edie Windsor and Thea Spire were married on May 22nd, 2007. It takes people to reach out. In a way, we're about just being there for one another. Thea approached Michael. Michael said, I know someone who will be able to help you. She called. I said, let me do what we can. In fact, that's how this movement began. It was really Jesus LeBron. In fact, Oscar Wilde Memorial Bookshop was the first place where I ever saw on a Valentine's Day where they hung up hearts acknowledging the love of same-sex couples. I always thought Valentine's Day was for heterosexuals only. That's the stereotype. And yet it was in that place, Oscar Wilde Memorial Bookshop. So, quickly go, first rally on the steps of City Hall in '98, February 12th, and next you'll see big sign that says, have a heart. And where we're asking that our love be acknowledged as equal, and for the rights that other couples, heterosexual couples, enjoyed, including marriage. That's where it began. And now move right up, 2003, when Tom and I crossed the border to Canada, because the laws had changed in Ontario. We were already domestic partners in New York. You know what that's like too, to step up one window for heterosexuals that says marriage license, and then this other window for us, for our kind. I'm so glad we've moved beyond that. Remember that day. We know what it's like, and I remember what it was like in Canada. Actually, I'll never forget the day I stepped up to the license, and for a marriage license. It was actually July 4, 2003. And the clerk behind the counter, she said, "Oh, you must be gay. There's not too many people who get excited about filling out the form and putting all the documents together." And Lord, this was so moving. You'd be standing in a line like everybody else and be treated equally. How moving that was. And then to return, we returned, Tom and I, in July 2003, married in St. James Park. Judge Harvey Brownstone, Canada's first openly gay judge, a hero of our movement. And on the way back, married with our marriage license. By the way, I know there's not too many couples frame their marriage license and put it in the hallway. But we did. We did. It's like a precious document of being equally respected. Cynics said, of course, who cares? We cared. We cared because we believe, and it was always I said, you never have to put off to tomorrow what you can have today. Don't put it off. You don't have to live one more day being disrespected, being bullied, being treated unequal. Don't live one more day like that. And that's what we do, isn't it? We go and we pursue and we do what we need to. We cross borders. We up and go in pursuit of dreams and hopes. And I'm so grateful for Judge Harvey Brownstone. On the way back, I said, ooh, I want other couples to have this experience. Got in touch with Jesus LeBron, and we set up the Civil Marriage Trail Project, basically offering couples who wanted help to cross the border. It was like peer help, and couples began calling. In 2004, February, we had a whole group. We had the most amazing Valentine's weekend. It was so great, I'll never forget it, and the welcome we got in the Town Hall of Toronto was so great. It was so wonderful. Couples who traveled from across the US, and we would have had couples who would call and said, I've been saving for 6 months, for a year. Some called and said, do you know how I'd get to Toronto by bus? You see, not everybody can afford just to hop in a plane and go somewhere. It's not that easy. Some were elderly, some had children. It's a lot. And yet, many saved and were willing to make that journey, and on the other side was Judge Harvey Brownstone waiting. There was many happy moments. And then, 2007, you know, thanks to Michael and others, Edie Windsor called. And then I met Edie and Thea. Tom and I went to visit them in their apartment. Before long, Harvey said, of course. It took a couple of months, and then May 22nd, 2007, in the hotel room, in the airport, because it was difficult to get, Thea would have been unable to get downtown to the courthouse. Harvey Brownstone said, I will bring the court to the hotel room at the airport. There was a small group of us in that room. Now, of course, you've seen it in that great film by Susan and Greta. And it was an incredible moment. You can imagine this elderly couple who said, we can't wait for New York State. Thea's only a couple of months to live. And again, that idea, you don't have to put off. Let's go now. Harvey was there, as he'd done for so many other couples, saying yes. And it was an incredible moment. They just pursued their dreams and were willing to go to great lengths, like all other couples before them. All other LGBT people, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender people who say, enough. It's time to rise, to go and pursue our dreams and hopes of equality and justice for ourselves. And of course, it's not just enough to dream, it's about making the dreams come true. So Edie and Thea did. May 22nd, anybody know, is another important day in our community's life. Somebody's birthday. Harvey Milk's birthday. Harvey Milk Day, May 22nd. So not only is it Edie Windsor and Thea Spire Day, and the day that changed their lives. You know, if anything, they're such a model. 40 years together. They truly had gone through so much, and yet went through so much to cross the border to Canada for a right that was denied here in their own country. But they did. They pursued their dream, and then to come back. Harvey Milk Day also, May 22nd. What a great and amazing coincidence, you know, that I will always, on May 22nd, think of Harvey Milk and Edie Windsor and Thea Spire. But I also think of all those activists before us who paved the way so that we could be doing what we're doing. So, I'm coming back to the LOFT. Thank you for being here, for all of us. Thank you. It's not easy to keep a place up and running. It takes all of us together. Activists, donors, philanthropists, who'll write the checks, who'll show up at the protest, who'll write the letters, who will keep the door open, who will provide the counselling, who will manage. It takes all of our energy. And we've so much more to go, don't we? We truly do. For our transgender sisters and brothers, we have work to do. For immigrants who are arriving here, leaving lands with their longings, just like I did once. Where when I fled Ireland, it was a criminal offence to be gay. We only changed those laws in '93. When I arrived here, you could be deported simply for being suspected of being lesbian or gay. We've come a long way. We truly have. And we've a ways to go. I'm amazed and in awe of what we have achieved together. I truly am. It's incredible. And I know we have a lot more work to do, that's for sure. But let me say this. I am so grateful for the LOFT. Thank you for what you do for all of the community of White Plains and beyond, and what you've achieved here in this community. It's all of one for me, whether it's for immigration equality, whether it's transgender rights, whether it's marriage equality, whether it's inclusive cultural parades. I call it cultural hospitality, by the way. Hospitality as well as hope. Hospitality is so important. Imagine saying to somebody, you are welcome. Your culture, wait now, we are the builders of culture. We don't belong outside our families, outside our communities, part of. I look forward to today when every spiritual space is welcoming, when every cultural event, there's no even question of should LGBT people include it. It would be like, why would we not want to include among the most fabulous and beautiful people in our community? That's an idea. Perhaps maybe a St. Patrick's Parade in White Plains and Yonkers needs some rainbow colors and life and energy. It's all one work. For equality, for justice, for ourselves, for each other. And you know the beautiful thing about this work? Once you start being part of this work, you're aware how much more there is to go around and to give. The heart never ceases to give. It's like love. It just continues to overflow. Thank you for the hope and hospitality that you at the LOFT provide and give. And thank you for this beautiful award, the Edie Windsor and Thea Spire Award. I will treasure this night for the rest of my life and this award. So above all, thank you so much.
Brendan, and what a great speech, Brendan. You got me motivated. You got me motivated.
What a wonderful.
How are you? Where's the other award? There we go. right, wait.